instructs him to keep her steady and tells her where Marmus is. Marbles, on the other hand, is using his firepower to assault Nearius. Wisteria now makes the decision to delve even further into the shadows. After that, the flame begins leading her, which she can sense. The power in Marva's body has stabilized as a result of the ring's transformation into a magical weapon, and she is now becoming enraged with Nearius. Given that he has been a constant source of problem for as long as he can remember, he claims that he is a significant trouble and questions why he would consider to become self-destructively unhappy at such a young age. In doing so, he begins to gather his firepower. He asserts that they are both immortal, but when he considers that life would be boring without him, he realizes that they are not. He then uses his strength to strike him, knocking him to the ground. Snow, on the other hand, is shocked to see this and informs Wisteria of everything, to which Wisteria replies that his concept of live commentary is not very good. Now that the attack on Nearius failed and he has once more risen up, Snow and Wisteria begin to flee the area. Marbot is subsequently informed by Wisteria that Nearius had remained seated while listening. This Marbot is shocked since, in his current condition, he ought to be rampaging furiously enough to destroy 1 or 2 towns, yet Wisteria senses that Nearius must still sense somewhere. He is not moving at all because of his connection to Lady Diana. Marvis, however, does not agree and queries Nearius as to whether he really has developed into a devoted hound. After all, watching him act out over a female like this should delight him for a good century. Marvis, though, believes that it is still too early to unwind because Nearius could suddenly go into a true berserker rage. They will require him to maintain his attention on Marmus because they will hold him in situ in order to keep him tethered to this location. As Wisteria hears this, she gets ready, but Snow observes that she is bleeding from the mouth and becomes concerned. When Marbles notices this, he becomes concerned about Wisteria as well. However, when Nearius suddenly punches him hard, Wisteria's condition worsens, and Marbles wonders if it is due to the magic because his power must be too great for a normal girl after all. However, Wisteria claims that she is fine. She doesn't care because it is inevitable that someone would get harmed in this fight. In the end, she is delighted because he has been watching out for her for a long time, and now she can fight with him. Wisteria is pleased by this and she will keep an eye on him so Marvis can battle while listening to his commands. She is truly deserving of being his contractor, according to Marvis. He then approaches Nearius in front of him. Barbuz claims to be certain. After falling, Nearius is alone with his master, so he will play with both of them. However, Nearius is instead insane and tries to attack Marba with his power, but Marba counters and dodges it at this point. Although Nearius is furious, Wisteria can hear the sadness in his words. Also, she worries that Lady Diana will shift to the point where she can hear Nearius' voice. Also, it is quite loud and nostalgic. He is too old for this kind of behavior, so Lady Diana tells him to put the books away after he is finished with them because she starts recalling about Nearius and how he used to have a book on his face. Nearius then questions what the difference is. Lady Diana is surprised and inquires as to how frequently he reads. Nearius responds that he is bored nearly constantly, so reading does not really suit him, and he is still bored after hearing this. Lady Diana smiles and remarks that he unquestionably does not seem like a dog that should be kept inside. The scene cuts to Lady Diana thinking that being a guard dog never did suit Nearius, but he has always been a devoted one, and she decides that instead of being cooped up in here, they should head out for a change. When Wisteria's condition is deteriorating and Snow is concerned about her, Nearius is still at his home and Marbles is using his ability to harm him. Lady Diana arrives at the scene just then and offers her condolences for the trouble her demon has caused. She claims that she briefly averted her gaze from him, which caused him to become very large. She then gave Nearius the order to come help her, and Nearius became calmer upon seeing that she was safe. Wisteria is happy to see Lady Diana and she asks Wisteria what she needs to do to help. Lady Diana says she might have thought their time together was surprisingly pleasant and enjoyable, but his time with her will amount to about as much as a single cup of tea, or at least that is what she kept telling herself because she thought it was true. She is then instructed by her Marvis to concentrate, control, and finally restrain the flow of Nearius' strength. Lady Diana is unsure, but she insists that it must be done right away. Marvis threatens to crush everyone if this fight continues. After this, Marba resumes utilizing his strength. Afterwards, Wisteria informs Lady Diana that this is the key and that it belongs to Marvis, allowing her to look for Nearius as well. Once they are prepared to search together, Lady Diana arrives in her imagination. But because of the surrounding darkness, she is unsure of where a key may be if it were needed in the location where her family members' spirits had just appeared. Now when she sees them all, Lady Diana becomes distraught and is unsure of what is happening. Eventually, after Lady Diana inquires as to if she is dreaming, her brother approaches her and informs her that they are all dead, but going forward, even if she calls to them, they won't be able to hear her regardless of how hard she works. They will never be there to compliment her, yet even then, they still want her to be content. All of their memories will be left behind with her. They will therefore still be there for her when she is sad and sobbing at all hours of the night. Her brother gives her something after that, and their spirits vanish. Lady Diana glances at her hand and notices Nearius, who asks if she is now dumb as he suddenly appears behind her. Observing alterations to the present, where the collar has regenerated in the neck of Nearius. Also, Lady Diana greets him. After telling Wisteria that he owes her a great deal, Nearius abruptly collapses to the ground. Marba then commands her to stop the restricted release, but she objects and claims that a man will soon be approaching. A man suddenly appears and claims that he never planned to reveal himself to anyone. Now that the green bird has realized that he was the guy wearing the armor through which he claims that he was, it is obvious that he made a mistake when he assumed that hearing this snow would shock the commander. Who is the Red Mane Demon's contractor, since that the commander has realized that Wisteria is Snow's sister. Nonetheless, he finds her to be odd, so he asks her what she is and when she became aware of his presence. Snow, who had heard that the commander had joined the organization more than 40 years prior, was unable to believe it was genuine, but Wisteria could easily picture him in her mind. She asks him who he is and why she can see him hearing this, because she can also tell from the way he looks. The commander finds it amazing that Siri can perceive him on a subliminal level, but Wisteria demands that he reveal his true identity. The commander then says that although he is genuinely human, he once encountered a three-eyed demon who asked him a question. When asked what wish he had, he replied that he wanted to be the strongest of all. As a result, he neither ages nor passes away, and the more he battles, the stronger he gets, because he was granted the best possible body. The commander then says that he is here, and when he became the strongest, it was in the sense that he had an unlimited capacity to become stronger. Marvis, however, is unable to believe it and claims that it is impossible because there is no price he could have paid equivalent to limitless strength than the mastery of immortality. As soon as he hears this woman, Nearius declares that he is delighted he is content with his body and everything else, and that if he does not die, he would simply slaughter all of his warriors. Diana is shocked, but Nearius is not. Claims he's not satisfied yet, and the commander takes his hand as a result of being unable to see his soldiers perish. Nearius asks if the commander even cares, to which the commander responds that he is a human and as such, he has a heart, so why he would not want to protect his people. He then says that he has put a lot of effort into training those knights, which is why he will not stand by and watch him slaughter them. As soon as Lady Diana commands Nabari to halt, the key vanishes from Wisteria's grasp, and Lady Diana is then unable to stand. The commander informs Lady Diana that he will inform the queen that she has passed away. Additionally, he will make the case for the restoration of the House of Black Belt's honor because stopping a rampaging demon was supposed to be the ultimate duty of his order. However, the fact that they were powerless to do so and additionally required the assistance of another demon is a serious failure. Due to the strength of their souls, these women can command powerful demons like him and Nearius without fear, so he says that if they come after them again, they will simply wipe him out. The commander responds that they can boast. They should always remember that no matter what the story in the final scenario, demons are the ones that invariably perish at the hands of humans. They are in a home where Lady Diana is reading the news about the fire that destroyed her Black Bells family home and their passing. Suddenly, Nearius says that although all they ever wanted was to keep her safe and she was able to survive, she was determined to restore her brother's image. He therefore believes that her family has now succeeded in obtaining their goals. It makes Lady Diana pleased as well. Wisteria tells Lady Diana just then that it's beautiful, but she soon found herself unable to control herself and began sweeping. The 6th installment of The Tale of the Outcast is sent to watch in this manner. Click the left to view the previous section's video or to see the pin remark. For more anime recaps, check out Annie Overview and the 7th part, which you can comment on below. We can now see 2 vicious monsters. Dalian is one of them, and he's upset because he doesn't want to see how frail people can be. He's tired of hitting large groups of people at once. Additionally, they are powerless to resist him in battle. They've started pleading for their lives instead. He has been in many wars in the past, but because people are always vulnerable, he wants to get more people to fight for his own entertainment. On the other hand, the lake-dwelling demon Siri has stopped caring about this conflict. The next scene shows Snow, who is enjoying himself while in London. He receives criticism for keeping the alliance between Mars and Wisteria a secret. Additionally, he is required to provide updates and information to TK Nami, with whom he is meeting until 10 o'clock, but he prefers to relax with a drink rather than worry about his punishment. He enters the bar where he meets Doctor and Luther with no remorse for saving his sister. They are all acquainted, but Luther is a baffling character. In the war, Luther loses an arm and is unable to locate his family. Additionally, this war is a representation of hell, where bullets are flying everywhere. Additionally, when these friends are apart, Snow is compelled to learn more about him by his mysterious appearance. After enjoying these conversations, Snow starts to follow Luther, but he soon realizes that Luther is aware of him and that he is by himself. In actuality, Lure has set up this snow trap. Otherwise, he has no intention of meeting with him. Snow observes them and realizes that Lure has made a pact with Dalian, but he is unaware of the strength that Dalian and Siri possess. One of the 13 disasters of the wasteland is Siri. Additionally, Siri assumes his original demon form and prepares to take additional action. Snow is not a person who disobeys orders from his superiors, so when Tech Nami notices that Snow hasn't returned, he becomes worried. He then advises Callum to update him on the situation and says he is going to find Snow. Seniors, we have looked at the bound Snow in the scene below. He has been severely beaten, but he refuses to listen to them and is also not willing to do so. On the other hand, Siri is eager to strike a deal with him before he is prepared. His sister has already made the pact with Mars, so he warns him about her. His eyes have opened wide as a result of hearing this, but he is not in the mood to act. The Lake District is where we have all arrived. Because everything is clean and Mars and Nas are fighting as usual, Wisteria and Lady Diana are glad to be here. Mars always shares everything with him, despite their apparent rivalry. Mars explains why he came to this place. He is aware that the sword crossing the night has seen Wisteria's face. Additionally, he is aware that their next praise will be for Wisteria, and he must take action to safeguard her. He has come here in order to steal Siri's misty incense hob. It has the unique ability to alter the person's disguise. Mars despises water, and he is aware that this tool is submerged, but he will do anything for Wisteria. Wisteria and Lady Diana, however, are looking for a shop. Diana avoids him when Siri calls her lady because they don't trust him, but what he said has left them speechless. He told them something about his brother that means Wisteria needs to go to London to save him. She is unable to make decisions for herself. Mars then makes a brave entrance when he tries to take her with him. He has turned his hair into a deadly weapon that can either overpower him or Siri pretends to be the devil and takes to the air while keeping a safe distance from Mars. Mars says out of the blue that he wants his Ms. Incense hob, but when he tells Dalian that he already has it, he is upset. Dalian is the same individual who was involved in Theory's brother's capture. Also, there are two people she can choose from if she needs protection, according to Siri. Siri doesn't want to respond to his question. She is not in the mood to sign a contract with the person who has her brother in captivity. On the other hand, Siri hurls a pendant at them that makes it abundantly clear that it belonged to Snow. Now that they are thinking about how the scene shifts when TK Nami enters the alley, which regular people are not allowed to explore, they have realized that this issue is not straightforward. However, TK Nami is the captain of Tik Nami, a warrior who is capable of eliminating anyone with a single blow. He has deduced that Lure is in front of him by observing the appearance. He does not believe that he has made a deal with a demon, though. In addition, Lure reveals that, despite being tortured, his disciple Snow is silent. Nami is about to attack him with the sword after hearing this, but Lure has a weapon as well and uses it to counterattack. TK Nami simultaneously displays his skill by stabbing while on his knees. He also intends to stab him in the back, but Luther is vigilant and stops him before he can cause any further harm. He is forced to sit on his knee but continues to wrestle with TK Nami. TK Nami is aware that he will prevail in this fight because his opponent is hurt, but he should also be aware that his adversary shouldn't be viewed as weak. His adversary suddenly musters all of his strength and throws him up against the wall. TK Nami finds it difficult to accept this since he threw the man away because of his damaged knees. Luther is also retaliating while appearing unharmed. He also puts his doubts to rest by saying that he has fought in many wars, which makes him want to keep fighting even though he is hurt. Despite this, Temi views him as worthless because he is a warrior who wants to destroy his own nation. Luther had turned into Dalian's puppet while a soldier was engaged in combat with an enemy of his territory. He hears this and gets furious, and they begin to fight. Aside from that, Dalian is finally relishing this battle. Despite his excitement, he chooses not to participate because he already knows the outcome. Callum allows entry and fires low when Dalian is about to kill Tik Nami. He has made an effort to defend his captain, but he is unaware of who he has pitted against him. Dalian has now entered the conflict and is about to crush him for getting involved, but Tek Nmi, who can't bear to see his subordinate perish, jumps into the fray and punches the opponent who will be facing Callum. Additionally, Nami has passed away, and Luther is praising him because he was protecting his followers like Snow. However, Dalian is changing his mind because he doesn't want to see him killed. He wants to take pleasure in this war once more. He needs to locate a soldier who can amuse him. Aside from this, Wisteria has chosen to accompany him because she does not perceive her brother to be in danger. Siri tries to mock her, but Mars recognizes that Wisteria is a capable, strong young woman. In addition, Siri eagerly anticipates a conflict between them. Now that they had arrived at Charing Cross Station, he was aware of the cause of this fierce conflict. Nas and Lady Diana have moved to find Dalian by arriving at this location. Marva asks what they should do after they leave. While Wisteria is unaware of the existence of his brother, she is aware that he will be meeting with his friends all at once. Mars makes it clear that he will only do one thing to assist her. She needs to use her resources to locate her brother. She is also content because Mars is supporting her and she has a strong sense of self-worth. She is satisfied with that. We still observe the Snow in the basement, which is on the verge of freezing to death. He is also unable to comprehend what is happening. He is unaware that Luther, a friend of his, has witnessed changes in the past where Snow has been given the authority to deal with those who have been possessed by demons. He goes to Luther to drink wine after finishing his work. Because he is strong, Luther is pleased with himself in this situation. Additionally, he is aware that with Snow on his side, no one can defeat him. As their friendship develops, Doc Watson shows up at the same time and observes how the situation has changed to the point where he is cursing himself for not being able to defend Blue. He is unaware of when he entered into a pact with a demon, though. Luther arrives in the interim, and Snow asks the same question that is crossing his mind. He responds that Dalian will provide the same response. Lure is seeking war, and he is once more engaged in thrilling combat. They have therefore devised a foolproof plan to stir up war in this peaceful part of London. However, we are focusing on the demon-attacked individuals. They attack other people when they transform into monsters. Dalian and Luther are taking in this performance, and soon they will plot to turn this place into a wasteland. In addition to this, we see Wisteria watching Mr. Holmes from Baker Street. Since Mr. Holmes is the only person who can take her to her brother, she is calling for assistance and wants to learn more about him. Mars is also keeping an eye on her and is impressed with her tenacity. Despite having no power, she still wants to fight them. Her spirit is motivating to him. We then turn to see Doc Watson, whom Wisteria regards as Mr. Holmes, but he reveals that he is aware of her brother. She informs him about her brother after learning about him with excitement. She says she wants to rescue her brother, who has been abducted by evil people. Mars, on the other hand, starts to doubt his ability to assist the unknown girl. When the bar owner arrives, he tells him to place an order because he can't just sit around and drink. Dr. Watson also advises her to stop learning about her brother. Doc Watson has chosen to assist her in the light snow. The sword-crossing knight commander appears in the next scene. He is present to see Mr. Holmes. He is aware of Mr. Holmes can lead him to the real offender because he is someone involved in this. He also wants to know where he can find him. Aside from this, when they leave the bar, Mars is so inebriated that he passes out. When they must leave the location, not even he can comprehend he stumbles, but he still wants to keep Wisteria safe. Dalian and Luther, on the other hand, are observing the sword cross the knight soldier who is guarding the knight. In the meantime, Siri notices Wisteria and turns to look at her. Now that he has a plan in place, his evil mind wants to include Dantian in it. He has given him a lost incense hob in return for him not interfering with their argument. Dalian needs to find out what he is planning, but the problem is that he already knows that something will go wrong. He approaches Wisteria and uses his voice to still her. Additionally, she had heard his voice before and was shocked. Doc Watson picks her up in his arms and begins running because he cannot risk her life. These demons' strengths have been revealed to Wisteria. Additionally, she must not disregard the marble's sacrifice because he has already assisted her once and is in danger of losing his life. She can choose anyone because she values Snow and Mars. They could easily crush her at any time, so she shouldn't mess with them by herself. She is in the presence of demon-possessed people, but she is unsure of what to do.